Hey folks, I'm in my car today. It's March the 3rd, 2026. It's, 7 minutes to 5 p.m. and it's still light out. Just goes to show that the days are getting longer. But it's a weird time at the moment. So because of all the conflict that's going on, which I won't talk about because to be fair, I don't really kind of follow things like that. Too much negativity. But because of that, there currently is a manic buy for petrol, apparently, according to the news. And it kind of gets me because they do say that, there's enough petrol. But the problem is people go panic buy, fill up their car, and then the tankers can't get there quick enough to refill them up because it goes empty. And that's it's like a catch-22. And I kind of remember this happening a number of times over the last 10, 15, 20 years where we've had shortages. Obviously, you had COVID, and then pre that, sort of in the early 2000s, I seem to remember, massive queues coming at the petrol stations, hour-long waits to get petrol. And a lot of the time, it's not the fact that there's no petrol. I mean, some of this time, I think there was a little bit more shortage of petrol, but it's not the fact there's a shortage of petrol. It's just people are panic buying because they feel the price is going to go up, which takes all the petrol. And as I say, tankers can't get there quick enough, so petrol stations start to close, which causes more panic buying. It's a catch-22. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of that negativity, because I can see this ongoing. I actually, funny enough, I drove back from the office and on the way back there's a small petrol garage which had like 2 cars on it. So I thought, you know what, let me join this panic buy session here, just fill up my car, because that way I know that if my wife's car runs out of petrol or low on petrol, then we've got this car which only gets used a couple of times a week. So yeah, I don't want to have to go and panic buy, but I saw a free spot and I thought, well, if people are going to go that mad, why not just do it now whilst it's available? And I know that I'm joining the panic buy sort of queue, as it were, but I'm not, because I'm if it wasn't free, I wouldn't have been waiting around. I did it because there was this free like 2-3 spare pumps on there. So yeah, manic buying petrol. Not the first time, as I say. I remember vividly, I think it was around 2000, 2001 that was my most memorable time. That said, there was a fairly recently, when all the COVID stuff was going on and all the toilet paper manic buying went on, and I remember there's a petrol station up the road, and driving up there, and the thing is, I think there was about 3 or 4 cars queuing, but there's only like about 3 pumps there. And then you go to some of the bigger ones and there was like loads of people waiting, especially around sort of the supermarkets where you get petrol as well. But yeah, anyway, I'm talking on about this panic buying and this petrol far too much, and who knows, maybe that will be the title of this video, I don't know. In other news, I've been doing some more Android development. So I used to work on a piece of software years ago that was quite interesting, although I wanted to create something that was in a way similar for an Android, and as I say, using AI to help. Basically, what it does is it kind of has a input, process, output. So if for example you receive an SMS, an email, or you can watch an API. And if something happens, like you can actually set, parameters like, not parameters, like keywords to look for in titles, for example. And if something arrives, with the email and SMS, I should say, with the API, it just looks for on the API. And when it receives something, it then goes into the process module, which a lot of it's like a pass-through, or you can maybe like add a little bit extra to it. And then it goes output, which would be SMS, email, and API. Just at the moment, just 3 inputs, 3 outputs, and some process in the middle. And I put that up at the App Store for review now. So it goes through. I did look, and there's a few other tools on there which are they do processing, automation processing, and I thought, they are, some of them are slightly similar, but also slightly different. So that was quite an interesting thing, because it's quite an interesting process to look at, where you basically automate. An example being, for say you've got I don't know if Shopify does it, but say you have a website that actually has sales going through, and there's an API interface into it, as an example. You can have the app kind of look out for when a sale happens, and if it does, it can then come in, process it, and you can save it to your phone, or you can have it send an SMS to someone to say to fulfill that, or an email. So it's that sort of thing is for basically just very simple processing of either emails, SMS, or API. So that's one thing I've been doing working on for a few days, and that's in there for the moment. As I say, AI helps out quite a lot, because the things that I don't know, then AI will build it for me or help me with it. Although it does have things that you have to then go and say, why have you added that? But yeah, it's quite good in that sense. It really is a very rapid development tool. And other than that, I've, in regards to bit mining, I actually have sold on the Hydro Nerd QX. At least its sold is gone off, and hopefully they're having no problem with it. But I am thinking about buying another air-cooled one, because I like the fact that the water-cooled one gave me a lot more hash rates, well, a few more, and I could have probably pushed it a lot more, because the fan was about 50-60%. But it's just that pump takes a little bit more energy, and the amount of energy over the air cooled is enough for another bitax. So I could get an extra terahash of for the same electricity cost, over and above what it's using. So I could literally go and get another Nerd QX air cooled and another bitax, and still only use the same amount of energy that one was using, and I'm getting more hash rate. So I thought, let's just sell it on. I love it. It's the very first one I got, but I'm really enjoying the air-cooled one, because it's so much quieter. And yeah, maybe I'll get 4.6, 4.7 terahash as opposed to 4.8, 4.9, but that's not the biggest loss. Having the lower noise is definitely more enjoyable to sit in my office room than it was with the water-cooled one. But yeah, so that's the other news. So still doing the Bitcoin one. It's at the moment on Bitcoin. I'm deciding whether I should stay on the pool that one or try a different pool. But I thought I'd try Bitcoin for a few weeks and see sort of what difficulty I had. I had a 3 giga hash to the day. So yeah, and then also, as I said, I've got another idea for another app I want to create on Android. So there'll be 4 or 5 or 6 soon. And yeah, I'm trying not to panic buy. So what about you? What have you been up to? You've been living life, having fun? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and comment, by the way. On that note, I'm going to go now. So this is this week's, and maybe some shorts coming, I don't know. But if not, I will speak to you next time. Bye for now.